What's up, y'all? Hey, it's your boy Toby D, pound for pound, ATL. Yes, I am solo today. My boy JR is chilling on this Sunday here as I'm recording this video, man, for you guys. I decided to sneak one in so y'all to know about this. You know, usually on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night, since we're in the off season now, we don't do it but at 7:30 Eastern time on Tuesday nights. You guys have been very live in the chat room. We appreciate that. We hope you continue that and bring a friend with you, man. Please continue to subscribe, like, comment on the channel if you haven't already done so. Like I said, me and JR appreciate the support as we're on our way to 2K at 1,950 right now. And we thank all the guys and women, Falcons fans, all alike that have subscribed, liked, and commented on the channel. And with that being said, man, the reason why I'm sneaking this in is because, as you all know, who love to keep up with the things that are going on in football, the events and everything. Yes, it is off season, but although now the Senior Bowl is over, the East-West Shrine game is over, the Collegiate Bowl. Now, I tried to watch the Honolulu Bowl, but I just couldn't get in it because of the lack of execution in there. But I am going to try again to watch that game just to kind of get, you know, more in tune with the players. Some of those players probably will not get drafted, just like some of the other bowl games. They will not get drafted too in this draft and become undrafted free agents, where teams will be bidding to get their attention to come to their squads in hopes of still cracking a 53-man roster and possibly the practice squad. But however the case, now you know the combine is coming up. And these guys get the chance to do, as you hear guys like Charles Davis and Mike Mayock used to say, play football in shorts. And as you know, I've been heavily into the defense on the front line. I have not had a chance to look at the linebackers or the cornerbacks yet, but I am going to make my way to the linebackers. Cornerbacks being the last thing that I would look at, just like how they do in the combine, where the cornerbacks be the last ones to test. So I will be making my way to the linebackers soon, but I have gotten my top 10 guys that I'm going to be looking at, both from the edge rush standpoint and the defensive tackle standpoint. But this week, I'm going to share a tweet that I tweeted out about 2 weeks ago, a list I put out on my top 10 guys, edge rushers, defensive ends, OLBs, however you want to call them, that I am going to be heavily paying attention to in this combine, because you can't really look at everybody. But I am going to break down that list of guys that I'm going to really pay attention to on Saturday. So that Saturday, I think, is February 29th. So I will be looking into that. With that being said, let's get this started, man. My first guy, if you already guessed it, you already know, is going to be from Ohio State, Mr. Chase Young, the beast himself. Now, I don't know how great he is going to be, but this guy definitely has what it takes to be great. 6'5", 265. Only a couple teams may have stopped him from having great sack days. Michigan, their rivalry team, being one of them. But other than that, this guy has been a beast. 2-3 sacks sometimes in a game. Just totally a game record. Now, I know a lot of you Falcons fans hoping we can jump way up there to 2 from the Redskins to get him. But I just don't see it, nor do I think it makes sense for the Atlanta Falcons to give up that much real estate. Yes, I know we gave up a lot of real estate on Julio Jones, but guys, we went up from 21 to 6 as opposed to going up from 16 all the way up to 2, which is a lot steeper of a price than I think we'd be willing to pay. And with where Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff are right now, I don't think you even want to see your team being put in that type of situation should Dan Quinn them not paying out this year. Now, I hope they are. So I'm not trying to throw any negativity out there. I really hope that Arthur Blank is right in giving these guys another opportunity to right the ship for the Atlanta Falcons. But we got Chase Young, man. I think he's going number 2 overall to the Redskins. It's been a while since we've known really our 1 and 2. I think Joe Burrow, which we already come to that conclusion. You've been hearing that for months and months now. Since the LSU season been going on, that Joe Burrow was going #1 to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm believing now with Ron Rivera over there in Washington, and he now has Jack Del Rio as his defensive coordinator, they are going with Chase Young to join that already formidable group over there in Washington with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen clogging up that middle. Sometimes Jonathan Allen playing defensive end or whatnot. Depends on what Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio will run. You know they're going to be a multiple defense. But they are looking to make some things happen in a division where nobody looked like they wanted to win it till finally the Eagles took the reins and got the division and went on into the playoffs, and Dallas missed it and now has a new coach in Mike McCarthy. But Chase Young, I see him going #2 overall. Ron Rivera has already compared him to the likings of Julius Peppers. And guess what? He did have Julius Peppers for at least a couple of seasons over there in his later years, of course. But Jack Del Rio was the defensive coordinator alongside with John Fox when they drafted Julius Peppers. So both of them making that comparison, I don't see him slipping past #2. So with that being said, let's move on to our #2 guy. This is a guy that everyone, so I'm sure many of you Falcons fans are familiar with, been seeing it in mock drafts all over the place. Mr. AJ Epenesa from Iowa. Another dude, big dude, 6'6", 280. Now, I don't see him really fitting in the Atlanta Falcons as far as the twists and stunts that we like to run up front. I don't think he possesses that athleticism, but he is a beast in his own right. As you heard me and JR compare him to the likes of Adrian Claiborne. Now, we've also said it don't make sense if you're going to draft a guy at the 16th overall pick if he's Adrian Claiborne-esque. But at the same time, I would not be mad at the Atlanta Falcons. This is their choice to go with AJ Epenesa. I think he be a beast in his own right in the NFL at the next level, especially at that height. I'm curious to see what his arm and hand measurables are going to be in the combine, as well as what all these guys' measurables are going to be in the combine. But I wouldn't be mad if they did pick AJ Epenesa. The next guy, we're going to go ahead and keep it rolling, man. You guys may be shocked that I'm having this guy at #3 over another dude that I'm going to name after him. But yes, I believe this guy can be a serious game wrecker for the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, if he don't come to the Atlanta Falcons, he's going to game wreck for somebody. But I'm having to go with Utah Bradlee Anae. A gentleman on Twitter had got me up on this guy, and I went and checked him out, and that Senior Bowl he had was masterful. 3 sacks in that game, quite a few hits. I mean, it's like he had a personal vendetta against Jalen Hurts because he was hurting Jalen like it was nothing. It was nobody's business. This dude, he's being projected as a second-day pick, but I think with him already having a great Senior Bowl, and he follows that up with a combine and has a great 10-yard split, 40-yard dash, and tests very well in the combine, that he will not make an argument for him to state his case to at least go in the bottom half between 26 and 32 of the NFL draft in 2020. Because this guy, to me, is, if he's not climbing up boards, I would be heavily shocked. There's got to be something that would be keeping him from at least stating an argument of getting drafted in the bottom half of that draft. And you know I would love the Atlanta Falcons to take this guy, because to me, he is like a little brother of Ndamukong Suh, and he is mean. Now, he might get hit with a couple of penalties depending on what the quarterback is with, unnecessary roughness, because he's just that rough. But he does give you and provide you with the nastiness and has what it takes to make it in the NFL level, in my mind, especially to replace Vic Beasley, who we all know is not going to be an Atlanta Falcon in 2020. Now, let's talk about #4, because some of you may disagree the reason why I changed these guys' ranking positions based on what we've seen them being ranked already on CBS Sports and other places you guys like to look for your rankings of these players. But I am putting Penn State Yetur Gross-Matos at number 4. Listen, don't get me wrong. I love Yetur Gross-Matos. I think this guy has Greg Hardy-like tendencies. Now with all the allegations against him, with hazing and all of that stuff, and showing, private parts and all that. I know we try to keep this a family show. I don't know how that's going to affect him. Now, I haven't heard much since after all that stuff came out a little bit a time ago, since he declared he was going into the draft. But however the case, we shall see how that story continues to unfold and affect his possible draft status and his career for that matter. But I am putting him at number 4. I'm really looking forward to seeing what his measurables will be. He is another big dude. I can't remember, I think like 6'5" or so. We got some pure pass rushers in this draft. We haven't had that in a while, in my opinion. And we're going to see that with some big guys in this draft to be able to handle these offensive linemen up front in 2020. So Yetur is my 4th guy. Let's keep it moving, man. My number 5 guy right now, who also had a great Senior Bowl from Michigan, Josh Uche. Now, he's a guy that I'm sure is going to start climbing up some draft boards. I told you guys I was going to really start getting into this thing. I normally have not done that, but I have been watching the Senior Bowl, Collegiate Bowl, East-West Shrine game, any kind of bowl game I can get my hands and eyes on, you name it. I've been watching it this year, so I don't have to be surprised by a lot of these players going between 1 and 7 rounds this time around, that I'll be at least familiar with knowing these guys' names and possibly where they're going to be landing in this draft. But I'm going to tell you right now, Josh Uche is a guy to keep watch on to see where he's going to be going up these draft boards. And any of you that know and possibly have a bead on that, hey man, comment that and let me know what you're hearing about Josh Uche right now. Because I think this is the guy that's seriously going to climb as the time progresses between the combine and the pro day, especially if he has a great testing at the combine. So that's my 5th guy. My next guy, a guy that many talk about, and I've heard many associate this name with the Atlanta Falcons, and I think would be a great fit. Guy can run those twists and stunts we like to run for the Atlanta Falcons. A great replacement. I feel like if he's there at 16, the Falcons could pull the trigger. We know Dan's infinite love for LSU players, and you already know where I'm going. The linebacker, Mr. K'Lavon Chaisson. This guy has had a nice season for the LSU Tigers, capping it off against Oklahoma. They won a championship against Clemson, but you see what this guy could possibly be. Now, the only thing that bothers me about him, and I'm sure when JR really gets into the film breakdowns, if he goes back to it again, like he told you, we're not out trying to get copyright hits on the channel, because we spend a lot of time and work hard on this channel just to give it away to somebody else that don't deserve it, especially if they're not an Atlanta Falcon fan. So he may or may not come back to it, but he was tweeting it not too long ago. Catch him on Twitter, Grim1128. That's GRIMM1128. If you want to at least keep up with what he's talking about with some of these players and the gifts that he puts out on these players. I think K'Lavon Chaisson was one of the guys he was tweeting out. So you want to check that out and see what he's saying and how he feels about him. But I really feel like this guy could be a great possible fit for the Atlanta Falcons. And like I said, with Dan Quinn loving LSU players, we know this. There's no secret about it. This guy could fit in and do some things as a chess piece for the Atlanta Falcons, moving them all over the place, dropping them in coverage, spying on the quarterback, all these things he did while he was with LSU. But the only thing, like I said, he only had 6.5 sacks. And I know a lot of you say sacks are overrated. But this is a guy, albeit has improved from year to year since being with the LSU Tigers. His sack numbers are low, but the potential is there. Most defensive coordinators would love to have a player like him, because then they could shape and mold him into the type of player that they envision playing on the field. And Dan Quinn is definitely a heavy believer in being able to bring out of a player things that they didn't know they could possibly do on the field as a football player. So we should see if Chaisson will be there for the Atlanta Falcons. But he is my number 6 player that I will be looking at when it comes to the combine coming up when the defensive guys go on February 29th. And I think March 1st is when the cornerbacks go. So if I'm wrong about that, somebody just comment down below and let me know if you have the dates and whatever. I don't have it on me on hand, but I think on February 29th is when the D-line, defensive edge rushers, and the D-tackles go on that day, and the linebackers, if I'm not mistaken. That's my 6th guy. Now let's go to number 7. Now I'm going to tell you right now, this guy reminds me of Croy Bierman. Now, what does that mean? Yeah, he's not going to be a starter to me at the NFL level, but he definitely can contribute, at least getting 5 to 6 sacks. I think, in my mind, averaging between 4 to 6 sacks like Croy Bierman was able to do with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, does he possess the athleticism to be able to do some of the things that Croy Bierman was doing when he was with Dan Quinn, dropping back into coverage, keeping up with tight ends if called upon to do so? I'm not sure about that, but his rushing tactics remind me of Croy Bierman. And this guy is from Michigan State, Kenny Willekes. Willekes also had a nice Senior Bowl showing. You guys got to check the Senior Bowl out. If you have not had a chance to watch it, check the Senior Bowl out. You'll see some of these guys that I'm mentioning right now that were there. Of course, you know Chase Young wasn't there. Javon Kinlaw pulled out after the Senior Bowl practices because he had great practices and probably got a great feel on where he should be getting drafted at. I'm projecting in the teens and could possibly slide in that top 10. We shall see. But of course, he wasn't there. But I definitely am interested to see where Kenny Willekes ends up at the next level for the NFL, and see how well he does at the combine, what he runs, and things of that nature. But I'm definitely going with him right now at number 7. And this list is subject to change, guys. After that combine, it's subject to change. We shall see. But I've been able to watch some film on these guys, and I'm liking what I'm seeing, which is why I'm confident in leaving these guys at the rankings where I have them, from my personal opinion. Number 8. Here's a guy that many may not know, but I know a lot of you football fanatics are familiar with this guy, Delontae Scott. Now, this guy doesn't look like he got a combine invite, but however the case, he had a great Collegiate Bowl showing. And if you have not had a chance to watch Collegiate Bowl, man, that to me, you guys, to be honest with you, was my most favorite bowl game of the year. I can watch that over and over, and I highly believe that there's going to be some players that make some teams happy on draft day. And some of them probably will not get drafted. A lot of them did not receive combine invites, and Delontae Scott out of Southern Methodist was one of them. But like I said, he had a great Collegiate Bowl. You got to check this guy out if you have not had a chance to do so. After you watch this, I heavily suggest you go do that. But I'm sticking with him at number 8. And he's actually over a guy that many of us are familiar with. And like I said, you're not going to probably agree with the list that I got, and that's fine with me. Hey, that's what makes this thing beautiful, man. We can talk football whether we agree or disagree in a loving fashion. But I am putting Derreck Tuszka from North Dakota State at number 9. Now, this guy has some ability. Had a lot of sacks, but he didn't really impress me as much defending against guys. I just felt like his lack of disengaging from players at times, and he didn't show the high motor and effort that I would like to see from a defensive player, the wreaking havoc type of energy that I didn't get to see. So that's why I have him at number 9, but I do believe he can contribute in some form or fashion at the next level. Whether it's going to be a starter or not, who knows? but I am curious to see what his combine is going to be. And possibly he may also decide to go on the pro day. Depends on what his testing numbers are going to be at the combine. But he is a player I will be looking forward to watching as far as my top 10 goes. And last but not least, we're getting to my last player that I am going to be watching pro day because he also did not get a combine invite. As far as I remember, there is a Chauncey that did get an invite, Chauncey Rivers, but it is not this guy, Chauncey Haney, who had a great collegiate bowl as well. I think was being talked about by Bucky Brooks, who was one of the commentators at the collegiate bowl, along with two other guys that were there. And they talked about this guy out of North Greenville. And he looked very impressive at the collegiate bowl. Two guys you need to go and watch at the Collegiate Bowl if you have not checked that out. Like I said, Delontae Scott out of Southern Methodist, and also Chauncey Haney out of North Greenville. Check those guys out, man. And let me know what you think about them, man, if you haven't had a chance to watch that Collegiate Bowl yet. But those are my top 10 guys. Now, hopefully I will be doing a video after the combine and talk about my top 10 DTs. Now, I did tweet that out about my top 10 DTs. So if you want to take a look at that before we get to doing that video, you can go to my Twitter, which is TobyD1991. And again, you want to keep up with me and JR Clark on what we're tweeting out and things of that nature. JR is GRIMM1128. That's Grim 1128. Man, hey, come on, tweet with us, man. Chat with us on all the platforms. Look for us everywhere. Facebook, Pound for Pound, ATL, all of those things, man. We want to connect and continue to connect with you guys. And we love you guys on the live streams. Continue to just blow that thing out, man. We want to get that thing to a point one day where it's probably going to just shut the whole live stream down, because you guys have been very active in that live stream. But other than that, man, that is all I got, man. It is pound for pound. Check out those players. Let me know what other players you're going to be looking at leading all the way up to the NFL draft, starting now with the combine and their pro days after the combine is over. Hey, again, I'm Toby D. Shout out to JR Clark. This is Pound for Pound ATL. Peace. I'm out.